Oh, man.
I have to ask you this because we had this discussion with Guy and Ken.
Yeah. Yes.
How did you feel about the shootout to decide Canada-Russia?
Well, that was cool. I thought it was cool, and I did. I didn't have a problem with it. First of all, I'm not a big Olympic guy, so I don't have a problem with how they're doing this. Now they're staggering it, you know. In the playoffs, it's a 10-minute overtime and a shootout. In the gold medal game, it's a 20-minute overtime and a shootout. Yeah. A couple of things
so it goes to a longer overtime the next one.
Right. The playoff rounds will be 10 minutes
as opposed to 5.
The gold medal game only will be 20.
Okay.
And then the shootout. I thought the Olympics got it perfect. I love the fact you can use the same guy over and over again. I thought that was really cool.
I know what I said. Gary Bettman should have walked into the press room there and said, starting when we get back, the first
absolutely.
games,
there's no reason not to do that.
That's how we're doing the shootout.
Yeah.
Once that's been seen, who wants to see these other guys they drag out there?
It was awesome seeing him go back. He went 6 times. It was tremendous. Yeah. And I liked that Datsuk and the other guy was going on back and forth. Datsuk and Kovalchuk?
Yeah.
How about Malkin not on the power play?
Yeah.
You know, Malkin's not on a power play. What is up with that?
The coaching is very strange.
It's very strange in Russia.
Not just Russia, but the Canadian team is doing some.
Well, they're having problems with Crosby now. They only scored 1 goal, and they can't find a line mate for him again.
Yeah. Well,
same thing happened in Vancouver.
There's a really good blog by Josh Yohe, the Trib today, about Crosby. It makes really good points about how you have to understand what he's expected to do there. Everybody will measure him on points. Josh made the point that it's more about Crosby preventing the other line from scoring. He said, "You go back and look at the scores from the past. It's 6-5, 6. You're getting there." He said it's obvious that teams are playing close, checking. They're not making calls, and it's not going to be that kind of hockey.
And the other thing about hockey that sometimes gets lost, especially in Olympic hockey, it's getting lost now because people are taking shots at Kunitz, is hockey's like baseball. You have to go over 82, 90, 95 games before you get a real feel of a guy. Yeah. I mean, a guy could go 0 for 10, and 7 of those in baseball, you're robbed by unbelievable plays.
Right.
So you could have Kunitz go out there, and he did get robbed on an incredible save. You could have Kunitz get out there and put 5 unbelievable shots on goal, get totally robbed, and then the presses go, "I didn't Kunitz do anything." Take him down to the 4th line, which is where he's at. It's the same thing with, because hockey, you're going up. You could go up against a goaltender that's incredibly or a great defense. It's to judge somebody's talent on 2 or 3 hockey games is impossible.
Well, let me just read what this is part of what Josh wrote today on his blog at TribLIVE.com. When you think of Gretzky and Lemieux and their respective greatest international moments, you think of the 1987 Canada Cup, right? You think of Gretzky leading the tournament in points and of Lemieux scoring an astounding 11 goals, including 4 in the final 2 games against Russia. That's pretty ridiculous. Great stuff with Gretzky nearing the end of his prime and Lemieux entering his. Now let's take a look at the final score of the 3 games involving Russia and Canada in the 1987 Canada Cup. 6-5, 6-5, 6-5. That's right, 33 goals in 3 games. Fast forward 27 years. Can you imagine any game the remainder of these Olympics being played at a 6-5 clip? Did you watch Canada play Finland today? Both teams were trying to win 2-1. Only one managed to pull it off. Perhaps a better example is when the United States played Russia on Saturday. The U.S. team is blessed with speed and does nothing but attack. Russia offers Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Malkin, Ilya Kovalchuk, and Pavel Datsuk, and we got 4 goals out of that game until the shootout. So there's a lot of firepower over there and not a lot of goals being scored. But you see, we still remember Wayne and Mario putting up points whether their team was winning or not. They were savants that way, really. Honestly, Lemieux probably would have put up 7 points against Norway if he felt like it, maybe more. That's how he was. He craved producing points, and Gretzky did also. This brings us back to Crosby, who is entirely different. Those early round blowouts feel like all-star games. Mario and Wayne put on shows in all-star games. They loved it. Crosby stinks in all-star games. It's not what makes him tick. It's not real. Now the games start to matter. Has he been great? No, certainly not. But what exactly do you expect him to do? What has Jonathan Toews done in this tournament? What about Patrick Kane? What have Ovechkin and Malkin done since that first period of the first game? 0 points. That's what. The game is different now. Defense rules, allowing infractions to go uncalled rules. Goaltenders. This is stupid, by the way, but he's right.
Right. Sure.
Goaltenders have never been better. Scouting reports have never been better. Hockey, in essence, has minimized star power. Take the NHL's. This is amazing. Take the NHL's current season, if you will. One man, Ovechkin, is on pace to surpass 50 goals. One guy. in the whole league. One man, Crosby, is on pace to go over 100 points. Think about that. Listen, I could recommend some strategies that will ignite Crosby, and in fact, I will. But anyway, he goes on. The point is, he says, Crosby's thing is he's a winner. He likes to win, and he points to moments. He said, the goal, scoring the gold medal in Canada. Who was going to score that goal but him? He was going to score it. He says, Crosby is a man of moments. We can't measure him any other way. Will he have his moments in this tournament? It's tough to say. Tournaments like these aren't really made for stars to shine. His own country, more than any other, likes it that way. It's all about the team, eh? But the coach of the team has to ride Crosby, and I expect him to sooner rather than later. I'll never forget an answer from Mike Babcock, he's the Canadiens coach, to a question I asked about Crosby 1 month following the 2010 Olympics. The thing about Sid, Babcock said, is that he seems to have a magic about him. That's just it, and you never know when magic will appear. The Russians feel it's their birthright to win the tournament, and make no mistake, the Americans have clearly been the best team in Sochi. Meanwhile, the Canadians have looked lifeless and a tad slow. They don't look like champions right now, and their captain doesn't either. But before we dismiss mighty Canada, before we dismiss its captain, we must realize that moments remain in this tournament, and he hasn't had his yet. Crosby, you see, does not dream of points or pretty goals. He dreams of the moment. We better not sleep on that. That's pretty good writing, too, and it's a good point.
Yeah,
so, and there's a lot of people in there that aren't putting up a lot of points.
The real stuff starts now. I mean, the real stuff's starting now with these, play-in games or playoff games. The quarterfinals then will really be unbelievable, and obviously the semis will be amazing, no matter who gets there. So, the real stuff starts now. These preliminary 3 games, they didn't mean an awful lot.
Yeah. Now, do you have? I decided after watching the game on Saturday. Was it Saturday?
It's great entertainment. It was Saturday morning.
Yeah. No, I decided that watching that shootout, that if they wanted to decide the 7th game of the Stanley Cup final that way, I'm down with it. I know not many people are. I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong. That's my preference. And if they don't do it, it won't kill me. But if they did it,
problem with it.
I think I don't know how you could come up with better drama than that. Imagine if that is Marc-Andre Fleury out there, and T.J. Soey is Shoei. What's his? How do we?
Joey.
Joshi. Is coming down on him he stops him. Penguins win the cup. He scores. They win the cup. Where in sports could you find some drama like that? I like it. I know people say, it's like having one guy said it's like throwing footballs through a tire to decide the NFL championship. I don't think it is. I think those are bad analogies.
No, I thought it was really entertaining. The whole game I thought was entertaining. It was really entertaining, including the shootout. I'm not
so you're not
a huge proponent of the Olympics, but that was cool.
Yeah. Now, but